my lovelies, it is time for my January 2023 wrap-up vlog, so stay tuned. Hey, hello, welcome. Today I'm going to talk to you about the 17 books that I read in January. Now, normally for my wrap-up video, I do a vlog that I've filmed throughout the month. If you've been around, you know how I do these. I will be continuing to do that in the future, but January's been kind of crazy and I have not done that. So I did end up vlogging the entire month of January, so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about each book and my rating, but then I'm also going to link above and tell you like which video you can find where I talk about these books, and I go into much more in depth about all of them in these different vlogs, and you'll be able to hear my thoughts as I'm reading them and all of that. So I read 17 books in January, which is not bad at all. I was pleasantly surprised when I figured out how many I had actually read. So I have most of the books here, though there are some that I either don't own or I just haven't found where they are yet. So I have placeholders in this stack for right now. Okay, so this first book here was one of those placeholders. My first book that I completed was on January 5th, and that was, I listened to on Hoopla, A Lullaby for Witches by Hester Fox. That book, it's two timelines, like there's the now and then there's in the past, and a woman that was like deemed a witch in the past is essentially haunting this one place, and in the now, a woman that's gotten this job there is very interested in this person because she's kind of been wiped clean from the records. I ended up giving this one 2.5 stars because there was definitely issues with like an eating disorder in there that was never addressed. There was some stuff that kind of made me ick and uncomfortable, and yeah, so I ended up giving that 2.5 stars. And then on the 6th, I completed the Breakup Book Club by Wendy Wax, and I loved this. This is very character driven for sure. There's not like a huge plot to this book, but it's sort of an addicting read and a slice of life, and it follows, I think, like 4 women, and they're all very different lives, but they all come together with this book club, and they've all got some major things going on in their lives, but the book club kind of helps them get through it. And I gave this one 4.5 stars. Oh, also, those first 2 books, as well as the next few, were all in my January TBR knockout video, which I will have up there. Also on the 6th, I read Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. And this is, these 2 people really hit it off, but then their businesses merge, and then they're competing for the same job. And it's sort of a love to hate to love relationship. There's a lot of pranking going on. It's a fun read. And I gave this one 4 stars. Sorry if you see me throwing stuff, but Einstein, he's determined that I play tug and fetch with him right now. Okay, then on the 7th, I completed The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. This was another adult contemporary. It was a lot of fun. It follows sort of a couple, but more so their assistants. And this couple, they had like this home renovation show, and they're just coming out with this book on marriage, but their marriage is not going great, and they're kind of like after each other, not in a good place at all, and they're ready the husband's ready to call it quits, but they've got to go on tour for this book and a Netflix show and all of this other stuff. And so their assistants have to go with them in order to help them keep it together until, well, they've gotten through all of that. And I gave this one 4 stars as well. So those are all of the books that I completed in that TBR knockout video. And then in my Buzzword vlog, the first book I completed on the 12th was Life Expectancy by Dean Koontz. This book was weird. It follows one person throughout their life. As they were being born, their grandfather was dying, and he made these predictions about these 5 terrible days in his grandson's life, and it follows him throughout his life when we have these 5 days, and also evil clowns. And I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. Then on the 13th, I finished my reread of Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and it follows a girl who's a telepath, and she finds out that her life is not what she thought, and she gets brought to this magical place pretty much, and goes to a magical school and all that stuff, and it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. Okay, this next one is a placeholder. On the 14th, yes, on the 14th, I listened to Jade Fire Gold on Hoopla. I forget who that's by. I wrote down that I gave it a 3.5, and if you want to know more thoughts on it, you can go to my Buzzword vlog. But honestly, at this point, I'm trying to remember, and I'm drawing a blank on it. So maybe I should actually bring it down to a 3. But yeah, if you want to know more of my thoughts on Jade Fire Gold, I gave it 3.5 stars, and you can go check it out on my Buzzword vlog. Also on the 14th, I actually DNF'd The Night Silver Promise by Annalise Avery. I got about 5% into this and determined it's not for me. I DNF'd it. I'm not rating it because I didn't get very far at all. It's just not my kind of book. So that was the last one that I completed during the Buzzword vlog. Next was my weekend vlog where I was getting my life together with Timo. And this first book here is another placeholder one. But the first book that I finished on January 16th, and that was Crave by Tracy Wolff. And I gave that one 3.5 stars. It's a bit of like Twilight meets Vampire Academy meets the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And it's kind of cheesy YA. I've heard that book 2 is so much better, and so I am going to continue the series. But it's like vampires and werewolves and dragons and witches, all in a boarding school in Alaska. And it was fun, but it was very cheesy, and I gave it 3.5 stars. This next one is another placeholder one. I don't own this book. It was one that I had to read because of one of my coffee patrons, and that is Genuine Lies by Nora Roberts. That was unfortunately my lowest rated book. I gave it 2.5 stars. It gave me a lot of like the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibes, but not nearly as good. I gave Evelyn Hugo 5 stars. This one, half that. It follows a Hollywood starlet, and she's wanting to write her memoir and spill all the tea, and she gets a ghostwriter to come and help her, but people are not happy about all the secrets she has to share, and they want to shut down the book. The best part of the story was the starlet's story. The romance part of it, I really didn't care for. The mystery stuff, I didn't really care for. I just really enjoyed her story. Then on the 19th, I completed The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. This is the first book in this series. I will not be continuing this series. I think I gave this 3 stars. It was an okay story, but I had a big problem with the fat shaming throughout the entire book. Like, our main character, it comes from her as well as all the other characters, and it's never addressed as this, you know, they never fix it. The only time the fat shaming really stops is when she's like walked across the desert and sweat and starved and exercised and has gotten significantly smaller. And that's the only time. And even then, there's still some fat shaming going on. But for the most part, it doesn't stop until she's not fat anymore. And I didn't care for that. Okay, so my battery's flashing. So let me change that out and I will be right back. Okay, I'm sorry if the angle changed. And this was the last book that I completed in that vlog. So the next vlog was me trying a new hobby. I'll link that up here. This book is a placeholder for the first book I finished, which was Onyx by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which is the second full book in the Lux series. And I gave this one 4 stars, and it's also kind of cheesy YA, but I'm invested more. I kind of love the characters a lot more, which is why it rated a little bit higher than Crave. This is also the 4th story, I believe, altogether, because there was like a prequel novella, and then book 1, and then a novella, and this was book 2. So yeah. What can I say about it? Aliens. Yeah. Aliens. Girl falls for alien. It gives me a lot of like Twilight vibes, but instead of vampires, aliens. Yeah, like I said, I gave that 4 stars. This one's another placeholder. I read the first book in this series, which is Beautiful Bastards by Christina Lauren. And this is like a steamy office romance, well, hate to love office romance between a boss and his assistant. And I gave it 4 stars. It was a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. This one is also a placeholder because I don't know where the book is yet. I think it's still packed away. But I read Alice by Christina Henry. That one was not really what I was expecting. I mean, I guess I knew it was going to be a bit gruesome, but it was gruesome, violent, very twisted. They start out in an asylum. Alice had been raped by the White Rabbit, things like that. So trigger warnings for that. And I ended up giving it 3 stars. I'm not entirely sure if I'll continue with that series or not. I might give it 1 more book, but I don't know. And then my last 3 books of the month were all just, oh, they were such a hit. They were all 5 stars. The first one of those is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This thing is so freaking sweet and precious, and I love it so much. And it follows Linus, who, he's essentially like a social worker, and he's sent to investigate different schools or orphanages for magical children. And he's sent to this one special one where he has to go and stay for a month to not only check out the orphanage and how it's being run, but also like the person in charge of the kids. And right off the bat, when he was looking at this file to like find out about the students and stuff, or the children there, the first one he looks at is a boy nicknamed Lucy. He's 6 years old. He's nicknamed Lucy because his name is Lucifer, and he's the Antichrist. But really, he's just a 6-year-old boy. And this was just so awesome and sweet, and I loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. And then the next one is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This was actually like a jumpstart on my February TBR, because this was actually supposed to be read in February, but this made me tear up. This follows a woman who, it goes back and forth between her as a kid and her as an adult, and as a kid dealing with the things that she dealt with her mom being abused by her dad and this boy that she was in love with, but now her adult life, you know, how things are going, and this, she's got this job that she loves, she started her own business, she's found a great man, and things, well, things seem perfect, but then they're not. And I gave this 5 stars. And then the last vlog I did was my makeover and 5K vlog. And that whole vlog was a bit of a blur because I had so much going on, but also the whole 5K thing was just like totally consuming my brain because I couldn't believe that finally happened. The only book I read in that vlog was Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So I went into this not expecting to like it at all. I delayed reading it for like ever. I've had it for so long, but I really was just not sure that I would end up liking it, and I freaking loved it. And I gave it 5 stars, and I 100% will continue this series. This is sci-fi. It's about a girl who has always wanted to be a pilot. Her dad was a pilot, but then something happened, and even though he was like one of the most revered pilots, all of a sudden he's now considered a coward and a traitor, and he had to be shot down, and she's been told that she's not going to get into pilot school because of, you know, this defect of being, you know, possibly being a traitor or possibly being a coward, and they don't want her doing what her dad did. And she does manage to get into pilot school with a little help, and even with that she's told she's never going to get to fly. But then she finds a ship, and this ship is sentient, and her and a friend work to repair this ship so that she can be like, well, fine, I can fly anyway. It's so good. And my favorite character is the ship. Mbot is amazing. So great. Absolutely love this. 5 stars. Okay, so those are all 17 books that I read in January. Have you read any of them? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!